Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I have come here because I just want to warn other people out there. If you have friends that you are friends with, you always need to be very careful because you do not know who wants to see you succeed in life, and also you do not know who does not want to see you succeed in life. So at all the times, make sure that whatever that you are doing in your life, you keep it to yourself. You do not go around telling people the things that they do not even want to hear, and the things that maybe you do not want them to know, because you do not know who will end up bewitching you. This is my story of how I ended up losing my husband because he blamed me. After all the things that had happened in my life, he started blaming me. And I still love my husband. My husband is struggling where he is right now. My husband is struggling, and I'm also struggling to think that there was a time when me and my husband were enjoying good life, but now this is where I am right now. I can't even do anything. I work just like what everyone does, and no matter how hard I try to work, but still it seems as if nothing is working at all. And it is a painful thing when you have thought that you are now making it in life and then you return back to poverty. It is a very painful life because it is very hard to go back to where you used to be in the past. This is what happened to me and my husband. We came to South Africa. When we came to South Africa, my husband had already found a job in the farms. He was already working in the farms, and I can say that life was pretty okay. We were not rich and we were just poor, but we were enjoying life. When I'll say that me and my husband, we would go out, we will just go and buy a pizza, and that was something that was a very special day for us. So it then happened that I started being friends with this other woman who was staying in the location. So this woman, she was someone that I considered to be wealthy, since I was staying in the farms and she was staying in the locations. So this woman, Brother Nashi, I met him. This was after I had gone to visit this other prophet. There were things that had been happening in my life. So I was given these other phone numbers of this other prophet that was staying in that location. I went there, and as for that prophet, he was someone that was very powerful. So there were a lot of people that were there. So we were standing in the queue, me and the people that wanted to get prayed for. That was when I started to speak with this other woman. So as for that woman, she was also there. There were things that she wanted, some prayers that she wanted from that same prophet. We then started to talk. I found out that she was a businesswoman. She liked selling clothes. So when I told her that I was staying in the farms, she was interested because she also wanted to get some customers by the farm, and we had an arrangement that I would be selling her clothes and we would be sharing some of the profit. So that is what we agreed upon, and we exchanged the phone numbers. I was assisted by the prophet, and after I had been assisted by the prophet, that was when I returned back to the farms. When I returned back to the farm, Brother Nashim, me and that woman, we then started talking. My husband, when he found out about this woman, he told me that there was something about my newfound friend, something that he did not quite understand about her, and he did not want me to be friends with him anymore. But I disagreed because this woman, she was doing a lot of businesses in the location, and I thought that maybe my husband, he was just being jealous for no reason at all. But my husband, he had dreams that he used to have, dreams that he had about that woman, and I thought that he was just lying to me whenever he would tell me that he used to have bad dreams about that woman. So we kept on being friends. So this woman, she was that type of a toxic friend, and whenever I would want to do anything in life, she would always make sure that she would discourage me, saying that whatever that I wanted to do, it was not going to work. She would only want me to do something only if it was her idea. As long as it was her idea, then she will approve and she will say that, yeah, that thing which you want to do, it is going to work. But if it was my husband's idea, she would tell me that that business idea of yours, I have already tried it and it does not even work. So when she came to the farm where we were staying, she was surprised that we were living in a nice house, and me and my husband, we had a car that we had bought from this other white guy. So she then started to discourage me and my husband, saying that it was a big mistake to buy an old Nissan Navara. It was an old model and we were going to find it to be very expensive to maintain, and we should sell that car. This car, Brother Nashim, it was a well-maintained vehicle, even though it was an old modeled car, but it was still very nice, in good condition. The way that we had bought the car, that white man had said that you can give me my money bit by bit because I know that you won't be able to afford it all at once. So even though we had bought it at such a price, but we had been giving that man his money bit by bit. So Brother Nashi, that woman, she would always discourage my husband, saying that you did a very big mistake. You were never supposed to buy a Nissan Navara when you do not have money, because those are the cars that only rich people are supposed to buy. When we wanted to go to Zim, she was discouraging me and my husband. So my husband, he had never driven like all the way to Zim on his own. So she was like, this is a recipe for disaster. You guys are going to have an accident. You aren't supposed to look for another driver. What you are doing, it is not going to work at all. You're going to have a big accident. You have to look for another driver. And in order for you to get to Harare, you're supposed to have 20K just for fuel. And we found out that she was just lying. She was just discouraging me. And I loved her quite a lot, and I never imagined her discouraging me simply because she hated the way that I was progressing in life with my husband. I just thought that maybe she was someone that cared for me that much. She did not want me to make bad decisions in life, but I did not know that this was what she was like, and she was a witch. When we got home, then there was one of my husband's niece who came to us and told us that my friend was a witch and she hated to see me and my husband succeed. I thought that it was all a lie because of some of the things that had happened in the past. My husband once had a girlfriend and his relatives, they knew about it. So I just said that they are lying to me. There is no such thing like that. So we returned back to South Africa. So when life got so bad, Brother Nashi, this was after my friend called me one night and she told me that she wanted money. She wanted to borrow money from me. I asked her how much did she want to borrow from me. That was when she told me that she wanted to borrow 50 rand. I was even shocked when she told me that she wanted to borrow 50 rand. I was like, 50 rand? You mean like you only want to borrow 50 rand from me? How is it even possible? Because in the location where they were staying, it was about 40 kilometers from the location where they were staying and coming to the farms where we were staying. So when she said that she wanted to borrow about 50 rand from me, I could not even understand what she was trying to do. But since she was controlling me and she was always manipulating me, I ended up telling her that it is okay, she can come and collect the money. Even my husband tried to knock some sense into my head, but I was so much manipulated by my friend that I did not even see anything wrong with it, because she called me and she said that she was already on her way with her husband. They were going to drive for about 40 kilometers so that they can collect the 50 rand. We started fighting, me and my husband, because I told him that he was very abusive, because that was what my friend used to tell me. She used to tell me that my husband was very abusive and he was very manipulative. So I started fighting with my husband about that issue. They came and I gave them the 50 rand. After I had given them the 50 rand, then they returned back to the location. From the day that I gave her the 50 rand, Brother Nashi, she never wanted to speak with me again. And then that was when we started to have a lot of bad luck in our lives, me and my husband. So we kept on fighting, me and my husband. And the more that we fought, Brother Nash, one day when my husband was not around, I took sugar and I poured the sugar into the fuel tank just because I wanted to hurt my husband. I did not tell my husband about anything. My husband then one day he went out and he called me and he told me that the car had broken down. So we then took the car to this other white man. I did not know that this is what the white people will do. They will rob you, and they will rob you in a very nice way, just using some contracts. And that is how we got robbed of that Navara. Me and my husband, we went to this other white man who had his garage in the farms. He used to fix some cars. So we went to him and we told him that we had our vehicle that had broken down. They then towed the vehicle to that white man's plot. And after they had towed the car, they told us the amount of the money that they wanted. The money was a lot and we could not afford to get that car fixed. But then he told us not to worry. He said that we could pay him the amount that we had. So he started fixing our car. That was the arrangement that we had with that white man. But he made us to sign some papers. Since we had never signed any contract like ever before in our lives, we did not even bother to read anything. All that we wanted was for our car to get fixed, and we did not care about anything else. So he made us to sign this other contract before he had touched our car. We did not even know that this contract, it stated that from the day that they had towed our vehicle, it had already started gathering some storage fees. We had no idea what storage fees meant at that time. And it stated that if it happened that we were unable to pay those storage fees, then they would take the car to the auction. We did not even read that. All that we wanted was for our car to get fixed. After our car would have gotten fixed, then we would be able to recover of our losses. Brother Nashi, we were so wrong. The white people, they would just rob you in a very simple way. Even if you go to court, they can even take your assets away from you. So after the car had been fixed, that was when we went to that white man's plot and we were ready to take our vehicle, as we had promised each other that we would give him the money that we had and we would pay him off eventually, bit by bit. But my brother, when we got there, he then said that he wanted his money, and the money that he wanted, it was a lot, Brother Nashi, and we could not even afford to pay him. When he told us the amount that he wanted, we nearly collapsed to the ground, and he told us that since we did not have the money and he wanted his money, he was going to give us only 7K, because they had calculated the money that we were owing them, and they wanted to sell the car so that they can recover for the storage fees, because they had been keeping our car safe for a very, very long time, and they wanted their money on that very same day. He said that I can give you 7K for this car because you cannot pay the storage fees. Brother Nashi, we ended up agreeing to that 7K, because what else were we going to do? And this was a car that we had bought for nearly 90k, and when we bought this car, it was in good condition. If I had not poured the sugar into the fuel tank, the car was going to be okay, but I just ended up pouring the sugar, and that is what brought us to where we ended up selling the car for 7k. We thought that the man was joking, but when we saw that he was not joking, when he said that, can you give me your bank account, because I need to give you the money right now, business is waiting for me. We ended up giving him the bank account that we were using, and 7k they deposited into our account, and just like that, our car was gone. And I sometimes think about it, and whenever I think about it, Brother Nashi, sometimes I feel like collapsing, because out of the 90k that we used in buying that car, then at the end of the day, you only get 7,000 rands for a car that did not have an accident, a car that had been fixed, that was now operating, that was still in good condition, and then you are told that 80 something k was for storage fees. And my husband, he nearly died because of the stress that he had. We were even afraid to tell anyone that this was what had happened, because we thought that people will laugh at us because we had made such a huge loss. After we had sold that vehicle, one day, me and my friend, we had an argument over some normal things, and then she told me that I was a fool, and that was the day that I found out that all along my best friend, she was the one that had been bewitching me. And the bad part about it, Brother Nashi, was that my husband saw the messages in the phone before I had deleted those messages, and when he saw the messages that my friend had sent to me, all the threats, all the things that I used to do whenever I was with her at the location, my husband just took his backpack and he left, and he went to Zim, and that was the end of my marriage. I still love my husband to this very day. Life is very difficult. I do not want to lie to you. My husband, he returned back to Zim. He is also struggling in life. We can't return back to where we used to be. When I have money, Brother Nashi, my problems becomes more than the money that I'll be having. Yet when we used to work in the farms, when me and my husband had about 100 rand, we could use that 100 rand and we could even have change. But now my whole salary, whenever I get my money month end, there will always be problems, and these problems will be more than the salary that I get each and every month. This has been going on ever since I was bewitched by my best friend. So this is my warning to other people out there. When you have a friend, make sure that you keep some other sensitive stuff to yourself. You do not always listen to what your friend tells you. Make sure that you do not get controlled by your friend at all the times, because as for that woman, she used to control me. She would ask me even how was I having sex with my own husband and how big my husband's manhood was, and the way that she manipulated me. I even told her the way that my husband's manhood looked like, yet she never told me anything. She never opened up about her life. I did not even know anything about her. So this is what happened to me, Brother Nashi. I can't even forget what that woman did to me, but she really hurt me really bad. The years that me and my husband spent trying to make it in life, then someone just comes around and destroys the little wealth that we had. We were just working in the farms, and working in the farm, you do not get paid a lot of money. When you are working in the farm and then you are able to build a house back home in your country and you buy even a Nissan Navara, it is a big achievement for someone that is working in the farms. But when that woman came into my life, She destroyed everything. My life was destroyed, Brother Nashi, and I am still trying to recover. I don't know if I will ever be able to recover. Maybe I won't recover anymore, but I'm still trying to fight for my kids, because when I look at my kids, I do not want them to end up like me. I also want my kids to have a better life. My mother, she used to be a maid. My father was a gardener. I thought that finally me and my husband, we were going to make it in life, because we also wanted to open a supermarket in Masvingo before I had met that woman. But that dream, we can never achieve that dream anymore, me and my husband. But I'm still trying to push, no matter how hard it is. My advice to other women out there: when you have your friend, know what to tell your friend and know what not to discuss with your friend, because you do not know if your friend wants you to succeed or if your friend does not want to see you succeed in life. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Have you ever had such a friend in your life? When you have other things that you want to do, they will always criticize you. They only want you to do what they want you to do. Their ideas that they would have shared with you, they want you to do that. And if you have your own ideas, then they discourage you. Have you ever had such a friend? Let us meet again in the following episode.